7 kilometres and 20 corners of the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps welcome you to Sunday and race 2 of the Kumho TCR World Tour and TCR Europe as we head once again into the Belgian countryside to enjoy 8 laps of high-performing, high-intensity and high-drama touring car racing. The grid are already getting ready to go as we go racing in a few moments' time. But before we do that one, we're going to head down to the grid with Fabio Ravaioli to talk to a few of our drivers.
Good morning, motorsport fans. We are on the grid at Spa-Francorchamps with a special guest, Michèle Mouton, the first woman to win a World Rally Championship race. So, Michèle, I know that you are here to find some friends, and which makes me think that you have a special favorite driver on the grid.
Yes, of course. Hello to everyone. I am here because, you know, I am a very good friend of Cathy Muller, who is Yann Erlache's mother, and I know Yann since he was a young boy. So, you know, I follow him, of course, and I am living very close to Spa, and I came to spend the day here.
So you must be very proud of him because he has been twice world champion in touring car, and yesterday he won the first race.
Yes, we are very proud. He's a fantastic guy, and we have seen the progress, and he's incredible, and it's not finished.
Thank you very much and enjoy the race.
Thank you.
Outstanding to see Michèle Mouton there, of course, as Fabio said, the first female driver to win an FIA World Rally Championship round, and is now the FIA WRC safety manager, so still very firmly involved in the world of motor racing. And as a local to Spa-Francorchamps, just like the many people that are in the grandstands and trackside today, they've come out for a great day in beautiful weather to enjoy some top-class motor racing. And yesterday, we put on quite the show in the world of touring cars, the TCR Europe and Kumho TCR World Tour drivers. We had a lot of drama, we had a lot of excitement. Yann Erlache at the front of the field very much ran away with it, but behind him, it was anybody's race for the taking. Passing, contact, drama, sidewise, excitement, all very, very entertaining. But I do believe Fabio's down now with John Philippi.
John Philippi, so you start on pole position for the second race. You must be very excited and be careful to the hairpin for sure.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for me as a TCR Europe driver to fight against with a guy from the World Tour. I know they are very fast here, but I show also that I have the pace yesterday in qualifying in Q1, so I'm confident. I push to the limit, and we'll see after the race what happens.
Thank you very much and good luck.
John Philippi starts the race at the front of the grid, courtesy of the reverse grid from qualification that we held yesterday. He qualified 10th yesterday and also finished in 10th position in the race. So it's going to be interesting to see if Philippi has the pace to hold on at the front of the field as we go racing. But we're now going to head down to Fabio again with Felipe Fernandez.
Felipe Fernandez, so first row for the second race. How do you feel? How do you see the race for you?
I feel very confident. I'm not too much to say. I'm going to try my best and try to enjoy this race, and the luck to be in the pole. So just enjoy the race.
Thank you very much and good luck.
So there we go, we've heard from some of the drivers. The grid is starting to clear now as the cars are preparing to go out on their formation lap, and let's take a look at that grid. John Philippi and Felipe Fernandez are on our front row, ahead of Nobby Michelitz and Tom Coronel in positions 3 and 4. Lining up on the third row of the grid is Rob Huff, just ahead of Santiago Arrutier in 6th position. Kobe Powells, who won the TCR Europe classification yesterday, is in 7th, just ahead of Bebu Girolamo. Girolamo had a good race to 2nd position in the Honda Civic. Ma Xinghua had a nightmare off the line yesterday, starts in 9th, just ahead of our winner, Jan Ellershey. Mikel Azcona is in 11th position, ahead of Ted Bjork, who was disappointed in qualifying and will look to move forward again, I am sure. Victor Davidovsky and Frederick Vervisch at 13-14. Lewis Brown in 15th, ahead of Australia's Ben Bargwana in the Peugeot in 16th position. Then there's Dusan Borkovic in 17th from Ruben Fernandez and Isaac Smith and Victor Anderson. Borkovic carried a 3-race grid penalty, courtesy of his contact in the first race. Michael Carlson is 21st ahead of Levente Lossenche in 22nd, and rounding out our drivers on this grid is Philip Lindbergh, making his debut weekend in the Kumho Tyre TCR World Tour, the ALM Motorsport Honda team. ALM Motorsport driver Bebu Girolamo finished 2nd yesterday for his best result, and credited the fact that the team now run 2 cars going forward in the Kumho TCR World Tour, so the extra data, the extra work that can be shared between the drivers was noted as incredibly valuable for Girolamo, and he'll be hoping that that continued collaboration as the season wears on will bring additional pace, additional opportunity to that brand new car. The newest car on the grid is the FL5 Honda Civic. It looks absolutely delightful, but it's had very limited running in championships throughout the world, so the more track time that car can get, the more learning the team in Yas Motorsports can do, and the more we'll see, I am sure, that Honda Civic towards the front of the field as the season progresses. Here's a man I want to talk about as well. Belgium's Kobe Powells, racing in TCR Europe. He finished 4th overall yesterday, which put him as the maximum point scorers in the TCR Europe field, because remember, the Kumho TCR World Tour drivers are invisible for points in TCR Europe, so the highest finishing TCR Europe driver in this race will be deemed the TCR Europe winner and given the full contingent of points. And Powells took, in effect, his first TCR Europe race victory and showed very, very well indeed, thank you very much, against the established World Tour drivers. So that young driver continuing to impress massively this season. His first year in touring car racing, having transitioned from the world of rallycross. He was in fact the RX3 Euro Junior Rallycross champion last season. So he's learning, but showing an incredible turn of pace already this year. So much so that touring car veteran Tom Coronel has remarked on multiple occasions just how strong the young Kobe Powells is in the ComTU Racing Audi car. Another thing to note, to help you distinguish between the world of TCR Europe and the Kumho TCR World Tour drivers have a triple-digit number on their front windscreen and the side of their car. That denotes the fact that you're in the full-time World Tour rounds. Double-digit numbers are the local championship drivers, in this case, this weekend. That will be TCR Europe. So that's the quickest way to distinguish between the drivers. As I say, the Kumho TCR World Tour drivers are invisible in points for TCR Europe, but the TCR Europe drivers do score World Tour points. So theoretically, you could score World Tour points as a TCR Europe driver and put yourself in your hope to be in that top 15 that will then become eligible to race in the World Final early next year. But we'll talk about that one a little bit more. Family Smith up there as well, cheering on their boy Isaac in the Volcano Motorsport car. His mum and sister that we see on screen there, they always follow Isaac around his European adventures as he makes his debut alongside teammate Lewis Brown at Volcano. They're making their debut from the British Series into Europe, which just again goes to show how the pyramid of TCR competition works. You can race on home soil, wherever that may be, in your national championship of choice, and then you can take the step up to a regional series such as the TCR Europe Championship, such as TCR Europe, Eastern Europe as well, and you can really move around the different series and progress as your career and your experience continues to expand. So it's great to see. couple of drivers from Great Britain. We've even got sort of the likes of Michael Carlson, who comes from the STCC, Scandinavian TCR Championship. He's come over to Europe to have a go in the aggressive Team Italia Hyundai Elantra car. So it's great to see so many different drivers, and of course probably the most high profile one of those, Ben Bargwanna, has come over from TCR Australia. Last weekend Phillip Island, 2 podium positions. This weekend the mighty Spa-Francorchamps in his little Peugeot, taking on the world on behalf of Australia. So it's great to see these drivers from all different parts of the world coming together in the TCR family and participating in TCR Europe and the Kumho TCR World Tour. For this race, we have a number of onboard cameras that we'll be using during the course of the broadcast. We saw Ma Qinghua there very briefly, Nesta Girolamo in the Honda as well, starting in 8th position, finished 2nd yesterday, so expect Girolamo to have a good turn of pace. Ma Qinghua had a disaster off the line from 2nd position yesterday, dropped all the way to the rear of the field and then recovered to 14th position, so we know the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. 03FL that Ma Qinghua drives is a competitive proposition at this circuit. There'll be some overtaking to do. Nobi Michelic, another driver carrying our camera, car number 105 in the Hyundai Elantra, starting in 3rd position. He'll fancy his chances of clearing at least one of those Audis in front of him, so Michelic will very firmly be coming into this race with half an eye on possibly progressing and trying to fight for the race victory. And home driver Frederik Vervisch in the Continu Racing Audi, all the way down in 14th after a disappointing qualification. Vervisch was an unreclaimed star of yesterday, started 14th, finished 6th. If he can repeat that again today, that will be a very good weekend indeed for Frederik Vervisch. So keep half an eye on the timing screens of him as he looks to try and do another miraculous recovery drive like we saw yesterday afternoon. The race today will be 8 laps long unless we have a safety car intervention. As per the regulations in TCR, should the safety car be called, we are entitled to be able to add a maximum of 2 further laps, taking the overall race distance to 10 laps in total. You'll see at the top of your screen when we go green flag, it'll show you the number of laps completed versus total, so keep your eye on that one. But we're hoping this is a green flag all the way to the checker for this race, and it will be 8 laps in total. And this is, of course, the final race of the weekend for the TCR Europe and the Kumho TCR World Tour. World Tour will be back in action again on the weekend of the 10th to the 11th of June at the Vallelunga circuit for the TCR Italy Festival, and TCR Europe will be back the following week on the weekend of the 17th to the 18th of June at the Hungaro Ring circuit in Budapest. So again, alongside TCR Kumho TCR World Tour. So plenty of touring car action upcoming, and plenty of touring car action about to take part here at Spa as we snake our way through the bus stop chicane. The uphill, slightly tricky, little bit difficult bus stop chicane. It's surprising how much gradient you have there as a Volcano Motorsport team. Look on in anticipation. It's surprising how much gradient there is at that chicane. It's very, very easy to lose a lot of time when we go in qualifying, we go in race conditions. But conversely, it's a great place to offer an overtaking opportunity. So let's see if our drivers can leverage that opportunity as we're about to go racing. Lewis Brown, Volcano Motorsport, pulling in to his box as far forward as he can to give himself the advantage. The last cars looking out of my window now are just starting to line up in position, but John Philippi is the man at the front of the field in the sunshine from Felipe Fernandez. Norbert Michelic, Tom Coronel just behind will be looking to gain an advantage. The green flag is go. We run down now into La Source for the first time. Michelic to the inside. Does Fernandez have the overlap to defend? Yes, he does. 4 wide, a little bit further back. 3 Lincoln Co's all in the same piece of tarmac, but somehow they managed to shuffle themselves back out and into contention. Frederik Vervisch trying to find a way past yesterday's winner, Jan Elishay. Nobi Michelic on the run through Eau Rouge alongside Fernandez, gets the deal done up the hill. Very brave from Nobi Michelic there, but inside, gets it done, moves the Hyundai Elantra into second, but Fernandez back again around the outside, riding on board now with Marchinquois in the 155. He's looking to get a slipstream of Kobe Powell's, but the Mitchell's Fernandez fight continues. Tom Coronel trying to buy in to this one as well. Coronel just painted to the rear of Nobo's car. He sneaked through as well. Fernandez hung out to dry on the edge of Le Combe. The blue Audi there on the curb again, trying to fight back to Coronel, but Coronel, the wise Tom Coronel, uses all his experience, gets the deal done and moves up into third position just behind Nobi Mitchell. Rob Huff goes deep in a Bruxelles on the overtake, doesn't get the car stopped in time, but he returns and rejoins just behind Kobe Powell, so no harm, no real foul there, a little squabble. Further down the running order, we are looking at Frederic Verviche ahead, looking to make a charge up from 14th on the grid, already up into 9th position, and there is Girolami in the mix as well in the Honda, riding on board with Marchinquois. Too many touring cars in front of him, not enough real estate, seesawing at the wheel through double ghost, but he keeps the car on the track, keeps the forward momentum down the inside of Girolami. 3 into 2 will not go, and unfortunately the Audi is the car that misses out. Light contact there, then 3 cars into the space of 2. Askenar going onto the grass as well, but the last time he's been, not the first time this weekend, he's been there as one of the Volcano cars, tries to buy into this Lewis Brown alongside the Lincoln Co. Brown, not quite having the overlap to get the Elantra ahead of him, but does get the deal done and moves ahead of Ted Bjork. So good pass from Lewis Brown there on Bjork's Sayat Racing Lincoln Co. machine, and that's a little squabble that we've got going for 12th, 13th and 14th position as we head up now for the first time to the bus stop chicane. Everybody through Blanchimont in the back of your shot. A couple of the aggressive Italian cars aggressively using track limits, but our first lap here at Spa-Francorchamps is done, and your race leader is John Philippi from Nobi Mitchell's and Tom Coronel. The top 3, Ruben Felipe Fernandez holding on well in 4th position, but he has got a Santiago Arrutia shaped Lincoln Scion car behind for good measure. Past Ted Bjork there, down the great defence, from Ted Bjork down the inside, covering off the line for Isaac Smith, Barguana and Dusan Borkovic. Not for the first time this weekend, have a little kiss and a rub on the run out of La Source up into the famed Eau Rouge section of corners, but they calm that one down and go as you were. It's only really a one-way street, but look at that one. That is Michael Carlson, throws the car up the inside on the run up Eau Rouge, gets the deal done. Hopefully Carlson managed to get all the way over and to the top of the hill and through. I think he does look at the back of our shot, but Michael Carlson has signalled intent that this is a driver to watch out for as he builds his experience in TCR Europe. Felipe Fernandez still in the thick of the fight at this moment in time, putting heavy pressure on Santiago Arrutia. Just got past it, Arrutia, but Fernandez has not given this one up yet. The Audi very slippery here at Spa-Francorchamps. The RC2 racing team not used to necessarily fighting this far up the field, but Felipe Fernandez very interested in making the most of that starting position as Frederic Verviche, a little further down the running order, continues his charge up the field. That's another car done, another car passed, and looking at timing screens, where is Verviche in the running order? In fact, he's down in 20th position, so some drama looks like it has befallen Frederic Verviche. If my timing screens are anything to be believed, we'll have a look at that one a little bit later on, as you can see for yourself at the bottom of the screen, the current running order. So this is our race start. The green flag fell. Good start at the front of the field for John Philippi. A strong start in third for Norbert Mitchell. Immediately looks to the inside, but that line is covered off very well by Fernandez at the front of the field. Coronel makes short work of the challenge from Huff further back as everybody squirts their way through the source for the first time. This is Marchinquois on the inside. On the outside, that is Verviche. So it was Verviche's Audi that was involved in that 3-wide bit of a tussle. There you can see him to the left of your screen, getting pushed out of the racing line. 3 cars into 2 is just not possible at that part of the racetrack. And a great start from Frederic Verviche now turns into yet another recovery drive. Unfortunately, the Belgian driver having a difficult home round, and he currently sits down in 19th position. So lots of work to do for Frederic if he wants to move himself up into the top 10 by this checkered flag. 3 3 laps on the clock now. Norbert Mitchell is closing that gap down at the front of the field to 7.5 tenths of a second. But Tom Coronel, teammate to John Philippi, is keeping a watching brief in 3rd position as well. So Coronel will be interested to find a way past and start challenging his teammate as Ma Qinghua goes too wide with Bebo Girolamo through Eau Rouge, now over the top of the hill into Radion. Girolamo on the inside, Ma Qinghua in the middle, and then we've got another car trying to buy in of Mikel Azcona as well, as Mitchellis defends at the front of the field for the run down into the com. Kobe Powell throws it at the inside to Felipe Fernandez, but doesn't have enough overlap. Fernandez has to take to the escape road to keep the car on the track, so Powell's lives to fight another day. But look at that fight a little bit further back. Azcona, Ma Qinghua, Ted Bjork, all separated by absolutely nothing as Bjork shows his nose to the inside, and Tom Coronel starts to get a little bit interested in Norbert Mitchellis ahead. This is an interesting dynamic for Coronel and Mitchellis, of course, because the Kumho TCR World Tour drivers are invisible for points in TCR Europe, so it's not necessarily important for Coronel to find a way past. But what is important is for Coronel to get into the same postcode as John Philippi, because they're both TCR Europe drivers and they're both racing for the outright victory and victory in Europe as well. So Coronel, at the moment, Mitchellis is a little bit of a frustration having that Hyundai Elantra, car 105 that we're riding on board with now. This car needs clearing quickly, or Mitchellis needs to start challenging John Philippi ahead. So Coronel, in a frustrated position, needs to be a little bit strategic about this one if he's got any designs on outright winning this race and winning the TCR Europe class as well. Coronel, Philippi, both rivals for that TCR Europe Championship, as well as teammates in the Comtu racing squad. Comtu, of course, being a Belgian outfit racing on home soil, so this is a big weekend for them as well, and they were delighted yesterday to take the victory in TCR Europe with young Kobe Powell's Belgian driver, Belgian team at the Belgian circuit. Great result for Comtu, and can they do it again today on Sunday afternoon? So we crossed the line, 4 laps completed, and John Philippi from Norbert Mitchellis is our front 2 drivers. Tom Coronel and Santiago Urrutia are 3rd and 4th position. Good drive from Felipe Fernandez to stay very firmly in touch in position number 5, just ahead of Kobe Powell's and Jan Elishay. Elishay having a good drive, making up 3 positions from his 10th on the grid start to as he tries to recover as much ground as possible and make this a strong weekend following the victory yesterday. 8th place is Rob Huff, just ahead of Bebo Girolamo and Mikel Azcona, despite all of the dramas that have befallen Azcona both this weekend and in this race as well. He's currently running in 10th place, just ahead of Ted Bjork and Ma Qinghua in 12th position. Lewis Brown is 13th. Currently in 15th place. Again, now this is the Hyundai under a little bit of pressure is Norbert Mitchellis, allowing Coronel to get a little bit closer. Fernandez goes and talks to the gravel too, which puts him in a vulnerable position to Kobe Powell's. At the moment, the drivers are just watching each other, understanding where they're quick and where they're at a disadvantage to their immediate rivals as they plot, as they strategically think about where is the right time to pull the trigger and look at moving forward. What's this that we're looking at now? That is a pass around the outside. So Dusan Borkovic just holding off Frederick Vervies as Vervies looks to recover yet further. 17th position at this moment in time is Frederick Vervies, but Dusan Borkovic is a tough competitor. Mikel Azcona looking around the outside, looking around the background, while Rob Huff and Bebo Girolamo go side by side. Girolamo holds on just about into the left-hander, keys the car, cut the outside line for the next turn, snips the car to the inside, tries to find a way past Huff, but Huff has the middle line covered very nicely indeed, defending without being too aggressive, but the car now will be compromised of Rob Huff for the run up and through the very, very fast Blanchimont section of circuit towards the end of this lap. Does Girolamo have enough horsepower under the hood to try and find a way past and take that 8th position away for Rob Huff? Can Azcona get involved, as well as the 2 Lincoln Co's keep a watching brief behind? Flat out run now, down into the bus stop chicane, break in a straight line, try not to allow too much racing room to the inside, and unfortunately Bebo Girolamo does just that. So Rob Huff still has that advantage as we run down into the La Source hairpin. Huff hard on the defensive to the inside. Girolamo late on the brakes down the inside of La Source. Girolamo with a dynamite pass there. Can he get the car slowed down in time? Huff retaliates again under acceleration for the run down now to the bottom of the hill and through Eau Rouge. Girolamo, brave as can be. Kobe Powell's pulls to the side of the racetrack, but we're too wide now for the run up Eau Rouge, and Girolamo gets the deal done. Rob Huff wisely drops back in position, and Mikel Azcona now fancies his chances against the Audi. Azcona firmly in the slipstream for the run down the Kemmel straight into Le Combe. Does he have enough drag behind the bike of Huff's Audi RS3? Azcona showing his nose a little bit, making his intentions clear, but not enough overlap, and that for Bebo Girolamo was an outstanding overtake into La Source. Great driving from the Argentinian driver. So this is where it all started. Marc Xinhua and Ted Bjork fighting for position through the bus stop chicane, one of the Volcano cars in close proximity too. But look here, Girolamo sells him a dummy, then throws the car at the last possible moment down the inside. Does well, in fact, to get everything all slowed down and stopped without too heavy a lock. But that is incredibly brave from Bebo Girolamo, and great driving to gather it all up together again without losing too much speed on the run to Eau Rouge. And then it was a case of who was bravest at the bottom of the hill. Kobe Powell's that we see there on home soil, we saw him pulling off the side of the track with some kind of issue at the beginning of that race. A real shame for Powell's, from the high of winning TCR Europe yesterday to the low of a race retirement at home today. Real shame for Kobe Powell. Stay tuned to our social media when we try and find out what went wrong there and have a word with Kobe a little bit later on today. But meanwhile, Bebo Girolamo found that way past, and that's given him a massive advantage. 7th position, but a good half a second plus in front of Rob Huff, who continues to be harried by Azcona, Marc Xinhua and Ted Bjork behind. So Huff very much on the back foot as we run now through the incredibly quick left-hander of Blanchimon. This will be a good opportunity for Azcona to find a gap inside the Audi car running up to bus stop chicane. Not enough gap there, so Azcona early on the brakes, looks to concentrate on the run. Huff goes very deep on the brakes, misses his spot, misses the apex for the second part of the corner. So now he's again scrabbling for traction as we run down into La Source. Azcona trying to play it cool, trying to wait for the right opportunity. Doesn't feel it's close enough into La Source. Huff in the middle of the road, but again leaves a gap on corner exit. Mikel Azcona does not need inviting twice, so he gets the Hyundai Elantra and TCR alongside for the run up the hill. Who is going to be the bravest into La Source? Azcona on the outside, Huff on the inside, Eau Rouge, sorry, and there we go. There's a yellow flag there as well from Kobe Powell, so Azcona has to drop back into that train, and that may have compromised him a little bit for the Lincoln Co's fighting for position. So Azcona now under big pressure. Marc Xinhua, the man with the inside line, but not enough of an overlap into Le Combe. Marc Xinhua drops back into position again. That brings Ted Bjork into the conversation. That brings Lewis Brown into the situation as well. So just like we always see in touring car racing, an attack can very quickly lead to the need to defend, and that's exactly what's happening a little bit further down the running order. From the field, it's still John Philippi leading this race from Norbert Michelitz in second. Tom Coronel still fending off the very close attention of Santiago Urrutia behind. Urrutia very keen to get onto that podium and get on with the task of chasing Norbert Michelitz down. Flash of the lights from the Lincoln co-driver. That won't disturb Tom Coronel one iota. Coronel, car number 34, very experienced driver indeed. Plenty of laps around Spa-Francorchamps under his belt in TCR cars and any other type of car, it is fair to say. So Coronelli, a master of this circuit. Cars feeling good underneath him, confidence is high, and it's going to be a very difficult job for Santiago Urrutia. A very difficult job indeed to find a way past and liberate that position from Coronel over the course of the next couple of laps. Good stuff from Felipe Fernandez as well. Still in 5th position, still holding off Jan Elishay. Now Kobe Powell has had to exit the race, so Elishay is the next driver along, and he's quickly caught the back of Fernandez. Will he make a move in a bus stop? Routier throws the car down the inside into the chicane. Little bit of contact as well for good measure. Coronel has to take to the escape road, gets back onto the racetrack. That's all fair in love and war as contact between the Audi and the Lincoln Co. Routier showing his hunger though to find a way past in the last couple of laps, but he's going to have to work a little bit harder and a little bit smarter to get past Coronel, as in the background Jan Elishay finds a way past Felipe Fernandez, and even further in the background Mikel Azcona gets involved in all sorts of drama as well and has the inside line and gets the deal done on Rob Huff. Huff under pressure now from the chasing pack as well, and that's Marchingois is the next man in the order to try and find a way past Marchingois in the blue, the bright blue Cyan Racing Lincoln Co car, but doesn't have enough of the overlap up through a Rouge, has to serve the yellow flag as well for the abandoned car of Kobe Powell, so a bit of caution needs to be applied, but this is where the real opportunity is, down the Kemmel Straight into the slipstream. In fact, Marchingois going very, very early on the defensive. He's more concentrated on Ted Bjork behind, so Bjork, can he find a way past? And side by side once again, Huff and Azcona. Huff runs out of racetrack, uses the escape road, rejoins nice and safely, and that fight will continue, I feel, into the final couple of laps. Let's ride on board now with Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing's marching car 65. Best seats in the house to see Azcona and Rob Huff going side by side. And in fact, Marchingois decides, this looks like fun, boys. Can I get myself involved in this one as well? You've got the ball, let's play the game. Marchingois now fighting to get in position, but Ted Bjork keeping a watching brief in the background, sidles up the inside, gets the position, nice and easy. It's a momentum game here at Spa-Francorchamps. You make a half-measure move, that's going to compromise you, and this is Mikel Azcona going to the inside of Rob Huff. Marchingois desperately trying to put the car to the inside and get involved in that one as well, and then Ted Bjork, thank you very much, I'll pick up the pieces and move up into 11th position. This has been a great race now, only 2 laps left on the clock. Brown and Smith desperately trying to get involved as well in 12th and 13th positions, just on the tail of this little Manuel Hyundai squad, concentrating on the laptops and the screens, seeing how their boys are getting on in this race. We ride on board with the 105 of Nomi Michelitz, 2nd position. That gap to John Philippe's 10 by 10. Last time around it was a 2:33.6 for Philippi, a 2:33.5 for Michelitz, but not enough to do anything about it into the final lap as round 2 of this little battle continues. Rob Huff being punted which way and the other in his attempts to find a way through the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing cars, but no quite opportunity yet as we go almost 3 wide down into La Source. We've got the 155 to the inside, the 2 Volcano cars trying to get involved as well, and Marchingois doesn't know which way to look as they contact between Marchingois and Lewis Brown. Light touch between the two on corner exit, some bodywork flailing on Lewis Brown's machine. Isaac Smith as well in Huntingbow behind. Can he find a way past Marchingois? Yes, he can. Be careful, 2 wide for the top of the hill, but they just about get through as Coronel and Arrutia continue their little squabble. Arrutia has to go off of the racetrack to get that deal done. There's some damage on Coronel's car, which suggests they've been a little bit closer than comfort would dictate in the previous laps, but just about. Tom Coronel holding on for 3rd position, but Santiago Arrutia and also Jan Elishay as well are interested in what they can do about the Audi car in the final half a lap of what has been an exhilarating TCR Europe and Kumho TCR World Tour 2nd race here at Spa-Francorchamps, as John Philippi serenely leads at the front of the field. Coronel now has a little bit of a gap, but he's going to be vulnerable to the slipstream as we come through the fastest part of the circuit. Now we need to get this little chicane out of the way, and then when we've done that, we're going to be pretty much flat tracking for the rest of the race. And Coronel, this is the pressure zone, the final lap. There's no real chance to retaliate. There's no real opportunity to strongly defend. Coronel just needs to concentrate on being smooth, being fast, getting onto the throttle as early as he possibly can to fend off the hungry swarm of Lincoln Co cars led by Santiago Arrutier behind and in close proximity, as we say, Jan Elche, race 1 winner yesterday, up to 5th position. It's been a good weekend for Jan Elche up to this point. Through Blanchimont we go for the final time. John Philippi started in pole position, courtesy of the reverse grid, led away from the start and hasn't put a foot wrong since. The bus stop chicane is the last obstacle between Frenchman John Philippi and race victory in TCR Europe, the Kumho TCR World Tour. Philippi takes the checkered flag, takes the victory at Spa-Francorchamps. The lights are flashing, the arms are pumping, and that is a masterclass from John Philippi to take the flag. Last lap, Marchinquois and Isaac Smith are getting together as well. Light contact between the two, but Smith just about squeezes his way through to take the flag behind teammate Lewis Brown, ahead of Marchinquois, and with a very relieved, I am absolutely sure, Rob Huff in 10th position. Bravo indeed for the BRC squad. That was a very nice drive from Nobin Michelis, a very nice haul of points indeed for 2nd position. So good work there. And Mikel Azcona, after all of the dramas that have befallen him so far today, eventually crosses the line for a very strong 8th position as well. Victor Davidovski, we're looking at on our screen there. And a quiet day today, 15th at the end in the Diamond Trophy for TCR Europe drivers, but a solid result nevertheless at Spa-Francorchamps. Everybody within reason stayed out of trouble. A sad retirement for Kobe Powell's, and there is Coronel. His typical burnout celebration. Quite a bit of red paint has been kicked up there from pit lane 2, so get your masks on, chaps. Anybody who's watching that one, might be a little bit of dust in the air, but Coronel never ever shy in celebrating a strong result, and still, even having turned 50 years of age, Coronel still very much at the top of his game in a touring car, and another very nice result indeed. Difficult weekend at Pau for John Philippi. Last time TCR Europe was in action, answered those questions, answered those disappointments in the finest style possible with a commanding lights to flag victory here at Spa-Francorchamps. Yes, well done, John. Great performance for John Philippi, great result, and a very accomplished drive indeed. That'll do his confidence as well as his championship challenge no harm whatsoever. Nobin Michelis is the first of our Kumho TCR World Tour drivers over and across the line in 2nd position at the top of the Kumho classification, so celebrates with John Philippi. Great guy. Nobin Michelis, a very much a gentleman of motor racing, so good to see Nobe having another strong weekend, another very accomplished drive indeed. And Santiago Arrutier is the 2nd of the TCR classification, just with that man that you see on your screen, Tom Coronel, in between him, 2nd in TCR Europe and 3rd overall. And these are our race results. John Philippi is our provisional winner from Nobin Michelis, and Tom Coronel rounding out the podium. Santiago Arrutier from Jan Elche, Felipe Fernandez are 4, 5 and 6. Bebo Girolamo, Mikel Azcona, Ted Bjork and Rob Huff round out our top 10 finishing drivers. Lewis Brown from Isaac Smith in 11th and 12th beat Marchinquois to the checkered flag, just ahead of a disappointed Frederick Vervish in 14th, Dusan Borkovic, Victor Davidovski, Ben Barguana, Ruben Fernandez, Michael Carlson and Philip Lindberg are our top 20. Levente Lasonche, useful mileage under the belt in 23rd ahead of Victor Anderson, and Kobe Powell's is the man who retired. So now down to Fabio.
John Philippi, congratulations, the first TCR Europe driver to win a TCR World Tour race.
Thank you, and it's also my first win in the world category, if I can say, since 10 years now that I start touring car. It was long, but at the end I achieved this. I'm very happy also about the team, for the team, because we won at home at the end, and this incredible feeling. Honestly, I have no words, because I was scared. All of the 2 last lap, I was thinking maybe something will happen, tire puncture. I mean, we saw this many times in the sport, and now at the end it was maybe the best day that I have in my career. So I'm just happy and extra motivated. I don't know. I have no words. Let's see.
And maybe the turning point was the start, because you had a fantastic start.
Yes, but also it was important to not do a too big gap between the car behind, because we don't know if it is a safety car or any accident. When I saw a car in Eau Rouge, I was very, very afraid about the restart, because I was on the limit, honestly. I managed a little bit the tire, but just enough to keep the gap with the car behind.
Thank you very much and congratulations again. And now we have Norbert Michelis, who won finished second, but I mean, it is very important for the TCR World Tour classification.
Yes, I'm very happy with finishing P2 today, Fabio. It was an amazing race. I did my best from the start, going flat out everywhere I could. Congrats to John, because his pace was unbelievable. So I tried to stay within the range of the slipstream, which was helping me a lot, to be honest. So it was just the right distance. I was always a bit faster on the last part before coming uphill, and then I had all the way slipstream on the last and the first sector. But yeah, very happy for myself with the points. Congrats to John and Tom, and yeah, it's a beautiful day for us here in Spa.
Thank you very much.
Superb stuff, thank you very much, Fabio. And these are the drivers' points for the World Tour. Norbert Michelis heads the standings by 3 from Jan Elishay, Santiago Arrutier, 18 points in arrears. And Rob Huff, a reasonably consistent weekend, helps him in 4th position, 74 on the board, 20 away from the top of the standings. Bebo Girolami, very strong weekend indeed. After the disappointments of Portimao, moves up into 5th in the overall standings, and Mikel Azcona will be frustrated to be 27 away from teammate Michelis, down in 6th position. Moving over to TCR Europe, Tom Coronel remains our championship leader, 16 in front of John Philippi. Kobe Powell's now getting a bit distant, 60 further back in 3rd position, ahead of Dusan Borkovic, with Victor Davidovsky and Isaac Smith in 5th and 6th places, but plenty of races, plenty of points still on offer. So that championship is very much still everything to go for, as we take a look at some of the highlights in what has been a breathless second race here at Spa-Francorchamps. TCR Europe coming together with the Kumho TCR World Tour. Rounds 3 and 4 of the World Tour, rounds 5 and 6 of TCR Europe. We had a great race at the front of the field. John Philippi never put in a foot wrong. Contact up and down the running order for Frederic Vervies. A difficult race on home soil. We had some bravery up into Eau Rouge. We had great driving standards, it has to be said, for the majority of the field. Everybody pushing to the absolute limits. Some sterling overtakes, drama, excitement, contact, and a deserving race winner at the end. A little bit of contact between Marc Ginglois and Lewis Brown towards the end of the race, but they both got away with that one, and Brown took the advantage of the checkered flag. And at the end of it all, John Philippi takes his first win for Continu Racing and the first win for a Europe driver in the Kumho World Tour.
Félicitations à John Philippi, un pilote du Come2You Racing.
Joined the podium a little bit there, late there, as Philippi was just finishing the French national anthem to mark his race victory at the front of the field, as trophies now are being awarded. Tom Coronel for 3rd position overall and 2nd position in the TCR Europe category. Norbert Michelis takes his award for 2nd in the race. A satisfied driver is Norbert Michelis after that performance and those points against his rival. And probably the most animated and emotional I've ever seen John Philippi in that interview with Fabio Rovaioli down on pit lane. So great to see how much this means to John to take the race victory, and for Come2You to win again on home soil, 1st and 2nd in class, 1st and 3rd overall, and the Coronel leap. For the photographers, there we go, ever the showman, Tom Coronel, celebrating another podium in TCR Europe and another exceptionally strong drive indeed. Applause from the teams and fans, and now we all know what time it is. It's time to get that bottle of Pomeroy open, give it a shake, and then spray it all over each other in time-honoured fashion. John Philippi, flamboyant at the front of the field, celebrating his race victory. Norby giving just rewards to the race winner, and Norby very gracious, of course, as always in the interview, to commend the pace and performance of John Philippi and, of course, Tom Coronel as well, and that will feel good. I am absolutely certain to John. He was down about Pau, down about he was disappointed by his own admission in the results achieved in France, but heading over to Spa-Francorchamps, he's put all those doubts, all those disappointments, all the upset firmly to one side to take a really, really strong and well-deserved race victory here at the iconic and legendary Belgium circuit that is the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in unseasonably warm weather conditions, it has to be said. And now back again, one of the vagrancies of the TCR Europe, TCR World Tour. It's time for the TCR Europe podium.
Félicitations au podium TCR Europe. On va aussi accueillir Isaac Smith, le meilleur rookie sur le podium en TCR Europe. Best rookie Isaac Smith. And now we're going to give the trophies.
So, not for the first time, the French national anthem for John Philippi plays. Tom Coronel now on the second step because it's a TCR Europe. Felipe Fernandez in third, and there is our rookie winner as well. So great stuff from all of our drivers on that podium for TCR Europe, which is the main series that is running alongside the Kumho TCR World Tour for this event. Again, as I said earlier, we'll move on to Vallelunga in Italy, the Kumho TCR World Tour, and then join again at the Hungaroring in Budapest the following week. So dating diary, 10th to the 11th of June, as Yves Bacalan hands out the trophies on home soil for Yves, of course, as well. Hands out the trophies to the winners and to our podium finishers, and Coronel takes number one for the Diamond Trophy. So good result for Coronel there. Philippi collecting quite a set of trophies, it has to be said, this weekend. Arms aloft, the cheer from the pit lane, the cheer from the crowd as well. Let's get up onto the podium to take the photographs for the photographers for our top finishing drivers here in TCR Europe, and that is the lead rookie trophy being awarded as well. Smiles aplenty, photographer taking the snaps, then a bit more champagne spraying, and then it's off to do hours of debriefs, I am absolutely certain, and see what's happening with the teams and getting ready for the next race. Champagne spraying, John Philippi. He's become a bit of an expert at that one this afternoon, twice on the podium, but he'll be ready to get out of that sunshine, I am sure. So there we have it, folks, our TCR Europe and Kumho TCR World Tour weekend at Spa-Francorchamps comes to a wrap. We've had incredible racing, two very deserving winners. Been absolutely fabulous to have you all with us. Please do make sure that you make a note in your diary for our next race. We're going to be action again on the 10th to the 11th of June. But from everybody here at Spa, thank you very much and goodbye from us all. Take care.